Hi, I'm Gary Watrous. I'm president of Watrous Associates Architects in Louisville, Kentucky. And I've been worried about climate change for many years. Now, every year is warmer than the last. And every year the atmosphere contains more greenhouse gas. And now climate scientists tell us we have only 11 years left to cut carbon pollution or face harsh consequences. Since buildings contribute over 40% of the world's carbon pollution, as an environmentalist and architect, I feel compelled to design buildings to be as energy efficient as possible without sacrificing beauty. In the Bible story of Genesis, God told mankind to, in quotes, till and keep the earth. We are guilty of tilling without keeping, of living unsustainably. Thomas Berry, a Jesuit priest and author of the Universe story, said, "People are moved to action by fear and hope." He says, people will change, but first they must see a clear and present danger, and then they must be offered a way out. As an environmentalist and green architect, I believe it's my job to show people a way out. My architectural firm specializes in sustainable green building design. Our goal is to design beautiful, energy-efficient buildings that minimizes their impact on the environment. We want to show people that it's possible to design attractive buildings that cost no more than conventional buildings, yet use half the energy for heating, air conditioning, and lighting. And we do offer an energy guarantee on all our buildings. So how do we do it? What are some of the techniques that we use? It's very simple. These are airfoil forms that you can look at later, which are in Teresa's house. They snap together, and you'll see photographs of that. You can look at them later up here. Okay. It's hard to hear without the microphone, is that correct? Okay. Those are airfoil forms you can look at later. You'll see photographs of those. And then these are some diagrams that I show just for people who, unlike you, who have no knowledge. I assume you all have been doing some reading, otherwise you wouldn't be here. This is an example of passive solar. The sun shines in, heats up the car. The car is warmer in the wintertime than it would be otherwise. And if it had solar electric on the roof, it would be called active solar. So, but this is passive solar. Sun shines in, heats up the inside. Very, very simple, ancient concept. Then the other important thing is that the houses are designed so that all the rooms, all the large major rooms of the house where you spend the most time are on the south side. The living room, dining room, kitchen, master bedroom. Rooms where you don't spend so much time, we call them minor rooms or buffer spaces, like closets, stairways, minor bathrooms, workshops. We put those on the north side because the north side is always the cool side of the house, and it's always in shadow. And then what I do is, you can look it up now on the internet. When I first started in the 1980s, this was kind of exotic backyard stuff during Jimmy Carter's reign. But now you can look up super insulated passive solar, a well-developed concept. And super insulated comes first because it's the most important. It means twice the normal level of insulation. It works 24/7 at night and day. So that's the most important thing you can do to any house, whether it is solar or not. Then if you do that and you're in a good spot, then you can do solar also. Using the sun means in the summertime, when the sun is high in the sky, we keep it all out by doing sun shading or overhangs, so it doesn't add to the air conditioning bill. But when the sun is low in the sky in wintertime, we let it all shine in. It helps heat the first floor of the house. We take the sun-heated air off the top where it's the warmest and circulate it throughout the entire house. So all the rooms in the house get the benefit of the southern rooms. So that's a very simple concept. In some of the larger houses, we use a hollow concrete floor that serves as the first floor ductwork to store the sun's energy in the concrete, and that radiates back at night in cloudy days. So any houses over 2,000 square feet, or if people particularly want a sun space, I've done it for little sun spaces too, where they just wanted a radiant floor, and it's a less expensive way than doing a radiant floor using water. So then I'll show you a couple of examples of limited time. Good. I have 5 minutes. That's good. Plenty of time. I'll go through some of them quickly. This one on the screen is a good, I always like to start off with this because many people don't think Kentucky is a very good state for solar. You hear it, you hear propaganda to that effect. But in fact, solar is pretty darn good in Kentucky. If you look at the yellow and look at the scale, we're at about 1,500. And if you look over there at Death Valley, that's 2,100. Or Arizona is 2,100. So we're 3/4 of the sun that Arizona or Death Valley gets. I'd call that pretty darn good. And also, if you look in the lower left corner, that's Alaska. That gets about half of Arizona. But what's interesting, if I can get this thing to work.
Solar batteries?
That'd be good. On the left is Germany. It has the same or less sun than Alaska. But Germany was one of the world leaders in solar. Why is that? Anybody have an idea? Their government promotes solar. They have great subsidies for solar in Germany. And also, they have about 4 times the cost of electric than we do. So it's very important for them. Then some examples. This is a church over in Louisville, outside of Louisville. Looks like a normal church till you get around the other side and you see that it's a solar church. The sun comes through the big windows and heats up the church in the wintertime. So it looks like that in winter, where the sun comes in and heats up the floor and the back wall. But in the summertime, the sun shading prevents the sun from getting in directly, so it keeps it cooler in summer. This is a child care center in Louisville. Again, a lot of south-facing windows on the left side there that bring the sun in. So it also brings light in. So in the center of the building, it's the high windows up above let light in through to the northern classrooms, so that during the summer, on any bright day, it doesn't need any electric light, and most of the heating bill is satisfied by the sun. So you can see on the left is a typical building of the distribution of energy, lighting, space heating, and so forth. On the right, the blank space, 41% or so is the savings for this St. Benedict Center. And yet it costs about the same, at that time, about $80 a square foot as a conventional daycare center. This is a home outside of Shepherdsville that in the center is the living room, to the left is the dining room, to the right is the bedrooms, and there are 2 bedrooms upstairs. So we put the major rooms on the south side, and you can see that in the floor plan. On the lower floor plan there, you can see how it's arranged. And then walking around the house, we have porches on the north side, relatively few windows. Most of the windows are concentrated on the south side. So I'll go through these pretty quickly. Looking from the dining room from the dining room kitchen area into the living room area. And this is from the balcony. You can see we have a stained glass window to decorate it. And this is a similar house, a little larger, same idea, with the same arrangement of rooms, with a garage, in this case, to the back. In this case, the entrance is to the left. This is another home, smaller home, about 1,800 square feet, plus a 2-car garage. This is about $125 a square foot to construct. We got 3 bids. They were all around $300,000. So I thought that was pretty good for 1,800 square feet house, 2-car garage, and a full basement, unfinished basement. And then afterwards they added solar electric panels with a generator in the little basement of their storage building and a wind turbine. And then inside the storage building is a backup generator using natural gas. So they're off the grid for electric. It's a view of the south. Now this house, they don't have air conditioning because they would have had to spend twice as much money on solar electric. So, but because the house is so well insulated and the roof is somewhat reflective, using reflective shingles even though they're darker color, they have reflective granules in them, that the house doesn't get any hotter than 85 degrees inside, even on the hottest day in the summer, even when it's 100, 105 degrees, and they have ceiling fans to cool it down. So they say they're very comfortable with ceiling fans at 85. I'll get it later. You know what? Going around it. This is an inside view. Again, I like high windows so that you can see the stars and moon at night. And also it brings in more sun at that time. There's another one down near Elizabethtown, Kentucky, out Siciliana, if you know that area. This is kind of modeled on a salt box principle where the north side is 1 story and the south side is 1.5 stories. And the slanted lines is actually the angle of the summer sun. So that in summer, all the south glass is in shadow. But in winter, you can see it's pretty much like the model shows there. This is a view. They have a nice pond. They use the pond for cooling. They have a hydrothermal system. Like instead of geothermal, this is hydrothermal. This is the air floor system we use in some of the larger homes, and as in Teresa's home, where we this takes the place of the first floor ductwork, so all the heated air and all the cool air goes through the floor, and then we cover it with concrete like that. See them, excuse me, pouring concrete. That's the way of making like a big warm rock in the middle of your house in the wintertime. Okay, taking questions. Couple quick more. I didn't want to leave out the existing homes. They're very important. Most of the homes with us now are going to be with us for a long time, so it's important to remodel them in an energy efficient way. This is one we've done in Louisville. This is a shotgun house that has a solar addition to it. They spend all their time now in this space because they like it so much. And this was another addition with a sunroom attachment and a new living room. And this is an example of where we live. And I just wanted to say that even the dumbest animals have been, don't pollute their homes. But we've been doing that consistently. So we need to get smarter. We need to embrace seriously, or at least consider seriously, the vision that presented in the Green New Deal. And we need to vote leaders who are not afraid to act in our behalf in future generations. Thank you. So a couple minutes for questions, but we can do more at Teresa's house. Yeah.
Do you have any problem with build-up humidity in this floor system?
No, that's often asked, but the air going through is always dry enough so there's never any condensation. Yeah.
What was the question?
She was asking if there was an issue of condensation. Oh, sorry. The question was, is there an issue of condensation using the air floor, which is a patented floor designed by an engineer, actually. So the answer is no. The air going through it is always dry enough, so there's no condensation. One more question, then I have to leave.
When you're pouring the floor, putting those things in, is that your job to put it in, or is that the concrete pour people's job to put it in, or y'all have to work together, or?
We have to work together, but a typical concrete contractor can do it. Actually, I've had an owner and his son could put down 1,000 square feet in a day because it just sort of snaps together like an erector set. So, all right, well, thank you very much.